We should emphasize not Negro history, but the Negro in history. What we need is not a history of selected races or nations, but the history of the world, void of national bias, race hate, and religious prejudice. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, founder of Negro History Week 1926.
I have a dream today.
Every day we still have struggles to fight.
I, Robert Parker.
Goals which makes us.
If we forget, who'll care? Who'll share our pyramids? Store our past, see our glory, and share our story.
Good evening, I'm Julia Yarbo. When Carter G. Woodson first started what we now know as Black History Month, he had a vision that the stories of blacks in America would be told in full. Songs of real-life heroes, inventors, the everyday common people who helped weave the fabric of this nation. And while we celebrate names like Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, and Rosa Parks, our legacy is also about the names and faces you don't know. For the next half hour, we'll uncover the history and heroes here in South Florida in hopes of bridging the knowledge gap, empowering, and restoring a sense of pride. We begin tonight with the story of a man who found courage, determination, and love of self in a time when those things were hard to find. And it all started when he became the new neighbor on the block. Here's Nick Bogert.
In early 1957, blacks are challenging local back-of-the-bus rules. Federal judges are ordering area public facilities to integrate, and state lawmakers are looking into outside race agitators coming into Florida. Into that charged atmosphere came Frank Legree and his family.
You stumbled into history, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
In January 57, Frank Legree, wife Helen, and two sons moved from Jacksonville to 1455 Northwest 55th Street, not knowing, he says, it was an all-white block.
Like if I knew that it would have started all this trouble, I never would have moved in there.
Pickets with racist signs walked outside the Legree home. Garbage and rocks were thrown on the lawn and at the house, and he got threatening phone calls. At night there were meetings on lawns just a few doors down, speakers denouncing Legree. Police sometimes stood guard, but the word from Police Chief Walter Headley was not reassuring.
The only thing you say, nothing we can do. You know, what you should do is move out, you know.
But others urged Legree to stay. Father Theodore Gibson and lawyer G.E. Graves, leaders of the local civil rights movement. Walter Smith, a DJ known as Butterball, who worked with Legree at WMBM Radio.
Hey, all I'm asking is for a little respect.
And Clyde Killens, who owned entertainment clubs in Overtown.
They got into the church and they raised money. They asked the community to help so that we could stay in and fight this cause.
So the community paid for all the jealousy windows broken by rocks thrown at the Legree home, and when WMBM asked Legree to leave, fearing his presence on air would make the station a target, Clyde Killens hired him as an MC in his clubs. But friends were giving Legree conflicting advice on the dangers his family might face. Attorney Graves urged nonviolent response.
We don't want to act like them. You know, those was his words at all time. We're not going to act like that.
But DJ friend Butterball and others disagreed.
Butter was the type that was ready for violence.
You feel any fear for your future safety? No, I don't.
Frank Legree watches images of himself and all the trouble back in '57. Images compiled by the Florida Moving Image Archive, some of which he is seeing for the first time. He says he really was not afraid for his safety, for a reason kept secret at the time.
But I had something too. I was ready for them, you know, but they
Did you have a weapon?
Yes, I did. But they didn't know it. And Father Gibson didn't know it.
What'd you have?
38. Yeah.
Stuck where?
In my pocket, in my back pocket. And,
Another secret reason for Legree's confidence, civil rights leaders had a spy in the segregationist camp who'd go to those neighborhood meetings and report back, a man named Hampton Shaver.
He wanted money. And the NAACP, you know, told him that they was going to give him the money.
That spy was how Legree knew in advance a cross was to be burned on his lawn, a cross wrapped in kerosene-soaked burlap, later brought to court. 4 men were arrested on Legree's lawn as they struggled to erect it. Legree and supporters watched it happen.
It was 5 of us inside the house.
The would-be cross-burners busted by cops hiding in the bushes. The media had tipped them off about Hampton Shaver's info. The group's leader, Fred Hockett, an operative of the White Citizens Council who had just moved to Miami to organize segregationists here.
Residents of other states are coming to Florida to agitate and foment racial dissension.
After the arrests, a state legislative committee intending to look into civil rights groups began investigating segregationist groups as well. The Herald reported Hockett might have stored dynamite in South Florida, and after a blasting cap was discovered underneath Legree's porch stairs, his supportive white next-door neighbors decided to move.
They figured that their house probably blowed up too if that was powerful enough bomb.
No dynamite was ever found. Fred Hockett and his cross-burning cohorts wound up in court before a clearly agitated Judge Mitchell Goldman.
This is a heinous offense.
He was what they call was a Jew judge. They didn't want him on the bench.
They tried to get him removed.
They tried to get him removed, everything, yeah.
But because anxious police had moved in before the cross on Legree's lawn was on fire, the men got only a couple of months in jail.
The charter only allows me to go so far. As to the penalty,
It took several more months, but eventually civil rights struggles moved beyond the house on 55th Street, and Frank Legree's stint as the center of controversy ended.
well, my future plans is to stay in my house, to stay in Miami, and live there for the rest of my life with my family.
He did, of course. In fact, Legree's family still owns the house on 55th Street, now in a predominantly black neighborhood. Legree remains proud he stuck it out here, though a little sad that more kids don't understand or appreciate what he and so many others went through.
Coming up, black cities in South Florida. We'll take a look at a sometimes troubling past and a suddenly bright future.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the
On Friday, Carl's Patio was closed until 2 p.m. to get ready for Carl's incredible 24-hour sale. Every item was marked down to the lowest price of the year for this huge event. Friday, 2 to 9, Saturday, 10 to 9, and Sunday, noon to 6. A total of only 24 hours. Buy the best at the lowest prices of the year and pay nothing for 1 full year. Carl's Patio incredible 24-hour sale. Don't miss it.
Hey, what's the hurry? Everyone's going to VisionWorks' best sale of the year. Right now at the VisionWorks half-off sale, you can save 50% off a complete pair of glasses. That's half off any pair in the store until this Saturday. So there's no time to wait. VisionWorks, why pay more?
Ask not what you can do for Kia. Ask what Kia can do for you. It's Kia's President's Day sales event. Get great deals on all new Kias, like cash back on vehicles like Sorento and Optima, or up to $2,500 cash back on Sedona, all backed by our 10-year warranty. The savings have been passed to a new generation. Get up to $2,500 cash back at Kia's President's Day sales event. Visit your Dade, Broward, and Monroe County Kia retailers. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Did you know that 22 cities across the United States began as all black towns? 18 of those cities still exist. And today, there are 5 predominantly black cities right here in South Florida: West Perrine, Gould, Richmond Heights, Carroll City, and Liberty City. There's an old saying, you never forget where you came from. Well, now some South Florida natives are coming back to their old neighborhoods, hoping to clean them up and share them with their families. Patricia Andreu takes us to Liberty City and shows us that community through the eyes of those who know it best.
Mention Liberty City and thoughts of crime, unemployment, and decay come to mind. But not for Michelle Spence-Jones. She sees through the stereotypes to a place of promise. Spence-Jones was born and raised in Liberty City, and though she lived in New York and LA, she chose to move right back here to buy a house, raise a family, and help lure businesses to the black inner city neighborhood.
You have the luxury of choosing to move on and move elsewhere, and yet you chose to come back. Why?
Because I think it's important. In order for anything to change, you have to be willing to stick it out.
Spence-Jones is part of a small yet growing group of young black professionals committed to revitalizing Liberty City.
It's a Cosi Center.
Like Nathaniel Stiles and Harlan Woodard, who recently moved their design and architecture firm to Northwest 7th Avenue.
After having lived and studied all over the world, we realized the significance of home.
With the help of public funds, they're working to turn decrepit buildings along a 4-block stretch of Northwest 7th Avenue into inviting places. This old lounge will be transformed into a New Orleans-style speakeasy. This concrete storefront into a first-of-its-kind art gallery slated to open next month.
As you can see, the windows to the gallery everything is wide open. No more bars. It's time to be able to look in and be proud of our culture and our heritage.
A model for this movement, the new Magic Johnson Burger King, which Woodard and Stiles helped design. Here, local artwork is on display. The colors and theme have roots in African culture.
The energy and the transformation of the physical environment and also the consciousness of the people it's coming, and we want everyone to be a part of it and everyone to be uplifted by it.
It is the responsibility of people like myself who've been able to steady the course. Then we can come back and give something.
Edison graduate David Shiverton's also committed to restoring the charm of the old neighborhood, long plagued by race riots and mismanagement.
There were millions and millions of dollars pumped in to help improve the quality of life. And that didn't happen. People who own properties let them go down. There was no development happening. There was no jobs being created.
Now Shiverton's part of the Reclaim the Dream campaign. It's a government-funded program to upgrade Martin Luther King Boulevard through public works and the construction of mixed-use buildings. Shiverton's also active, luring retailers that are responsive to the new attitude that's taking hold.
And within the next 2 years, this will be the model MLK Boulevard for the country.
This group is determined to make a lasting difference in the area.
We have no more time to waste. Our neighborhood will be gone before we even know it.
There is another place in South Florida that is restoring things back to the way they used to be. The historic site of Virginia Key Beach Park sits on Bear Cut, overlooking a beautiful stretch of water. Back in 1945, it was the only beach in Miami-Dade County which allowed blacks. In its heyday, the beach park had hundreds of thousands of visitors. Now, thanks to a restoration project to be finished by 2006, Virginia Key may once again be a buzzing beach.
The restoration project entails several different stages. First stage is actually to restore the old buildings that were here. That would include the carousel building, that would include the train tunnel, that would include the bathhouse. It also includes the condiment stand where you would buy your knee-high sodas and your corn dogs. So all of that has been completed, and we also restore the picnic pavilion and the dance floor. So for those that remember the heyday of the beach park, you could come back and say, wow, it looks really good.
While there are many upcoming leaders here in South Florida, many young people say they feel a sense of disconnect to the past. Coming up, we pose the question, is it necessary to look to the past in order to move to the future? We'll be back.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
I think this could be a problem.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
I think this could be a big problem.
I think we should drive that bad boy. For research.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, research.
Lease a 2005 Mazda 6i Sports Sedan for $199 per month for 42 months with $19.99 due at lease signing. Do a little research of your own. Get to your Mazda dealer for a test drive now.
On Friday, Carl's Furniture was closed until 2 p.m. to get ready for Carl's incredible 24-hour sale. Every item was marked down to the lowest price of the year for this huge event. Friday, 2 to 9, Saturday, 10 to 9, and Sunday, noon to 6. A total of only 24 hours. Buy the best at the lowest prices of the year and pay nothing for 1 full year. Carl's incredible 24-hour sale. Don't miss it.
This was spring. Now it's bigger, bolder,
better with Ford's Big Deal Spring Event. Great new Fords, bigger deals, like $2,000 cash back or 0% for 60 months on Focus. Plus, get a Dell Dimension PC with a flat panel monitor and all-in-one printer at no extra charge. $2,000 cash or 0 for 60 plus a Dell Dimension PC. It's Ford's Big Deal Spring Event, going on now at your South Florida Ford dealer.
Why is Black History Month important?
Because it teaches you about your culture.
It's a way for kids to know, kids in school to know exactly who their ancestors were and what they've done and their accomplishments, basically.
And it gives them a sense of where they came from, a foundation, so that as they grow older, they have the strength to understand that, well, they did it back then. They had less tools, and I have a lot more knowledge and ability, so I can get it done.
This year we have a reason to have more of a focus on it. I mean, I just found out that a black person actually founded the internet.
But I always wonder in myself, why 1 month? We're supposed to be celebrating our history all year long.
History links us to our past, but for many Black Americans, that link has been weakened or in some cases broken. Some say celebrating Black History Month is one way to repair that link, but others question if celebrating 1 month a year is the best way to do that. Here's senior correspondent Ike Siemens.
A Black History Month celebration at Miami-Dade College North Campus. Very few students attended. Today, many, if not most, young African Americans just don't identify with the past.
As far as do we remember what really happened, at least I don't really remember a lot.
I had one social studies class and they talked more about they didn't talk about no Black American history.
It's been a long time ago, been before my time, so people just really don't care, I guess.
There's no need for you to look back if you don't want to look back.
The Urban League's T. Willard Fair thinks remembrance of things past is overrated.
I'm not sure it's important. How much do you need to remember? What does remembering mean? If you believe that everything is all right with you as a person.
Community leader, 89-year-old Athley Range realizes times are different and better for Black kids.
But you can't really expect them to feel the pain and agony that people my age and some even younger have felt. Our young people have a right to choose whatever they'd like to do. I think they've accepted this as a way of life, even though they know that at one time it was not this way.
From Key West, in 1923, she arrived in Miami, a segregated southern town. Blacks needed special passes to enter certain parts of town. She joined Martin Luther King, a frequent visitor to Miami in the 1950s, in his nonviolent civil rights campaign.
We want freedom now.
In the 1960s, Ms. Range was the first African American to be elected to the Miami City Commission. Fought to get her children enrolled in segregated schools.
We're not serious about it because
Fair, who came here in the 1960s, thinks a 1 month Black History remembrance is a cop-out. What about Black History Month? We always make a very big deal of Black History 1 month a year.
White people do it. It is their way of saying to Black people, we think that you are important. Black people who do it once a year have to be totally insane.
Totally insane?
Totally insane to suggest that they're going to have a great celebration once a year in the shortest month of the year. If we were serious about it, then there are a lot of significant things that happen every day, every month, that ought to be celebrated by Black people.
Mrs. Range agrees, believing racial or ethnic celebrations divide communities.
I hope that the day will come that we will not need to set aside a month or a day or a week for Black history, that every day there will be something to remind us that we all live here in one world together, and we don't need to be separated by days of celebration or remembrance.
Black history doesn't just refer to African Americans. Coming up, we'll take a look at what Black unity means here in South Florida.
Hi, I'm Raven Simone.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
Hey, what's up? This is Cedric the Entertainer celebrating
Black History Month
with NBC. With NBC 6. You know it.
Wow.
Mercury Insurance has been making the pieces fit for your family since 1962. Mercury consistently beats competitors like these in head-to-head rate surveys. Over 3,000 local independent agents offer Mercury. When the final picture comes together, Mercury is the clear choice for auto insurance. Call 1-888-4-MERCURY for savings, service, security.
On Friday, Carl's Patio was closed until 2 p.m. to get ready for Carl's incredible 24-hour sale. Every item was marked down to the lowest price of the year for this huge event. Friday, 2 to 9, Saturday, 10 to 9, and Sunday, noon to 6. A total of only 24 hours. Buy the best at the lowest prices of the year and pay nothing for 1 full year. Carl's Patio incredible 24-hour sale. Don't miss it.
I think this could be a problem.
I think this could be a big problem.
I think we should drive that bad boy.
You know, for research.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, research.
Lease a 2005 Mazda 6i Sport Sedan for $199 per month for 42 months with $19.99 due at lease signing. Do a little research of your own. Get to your Mazda dealer for a test drive now.
Hi, my name is Chanel Rose. I'm British Jamaican. I am Black History.
I'm Carl Moon. I'm African American. I'm Black History.
I'm Philip Celestin. I'm Haitian, and I'm Black History.
Hi, my name is John Collier. I'm African American. I am Black History. Thank you.
When many people hear the word black, they tend to associate it with African Americans. And while that may work just about any place else in the country, here in South Florida, black encompasses a host of nationalities and different beliefs. Sharon Lawson takes a look at the diversity of blacks here in South Florida and where we stand when it comes to unity.
I'm black.
I'm black.
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 What is black in South Florida? It encompasses many shades, features, hair textures, and cultures, forging a historic tapestry woven with a rich diversity.
We have blacks from the Caribbean, we have blacks from Latin America, we have African Americans, we have continental Africans, from Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Kenya.
Dr. Michael Barnett is a sociology professor at Florida International University. He studies the African diaspora and the challenges of being black in South Florida.
Well, the reality is that some people are still struggling with their blackness.
Why? Barnett says there are negative stereotypes associated with black, from slavery to segregation to the way blacks are portrayed in the media. Some groups have a problem with the term black or even originating from Africa.
We are millions of years old. We shouldn't be behaving like this.
During a lecture session at FIU, author Del Jones speaks about being diverse and divided in the black community.
We're estranged from one another. We don't know each other. We have developed different cultures from the impact of other people's culture on us.
Jones says we were divided not voluntarily, but militarily, centuries ago. Erica Chaplin sometimes feels that division simply by having to explain her blackness.
I always get a lot of, well, what are you? I'm black. I'm of Jamaican descent. My parents originally from Jamaica. My father is black and white. My mother is Chinese and black.
Kozin Majakodemi moved here from Nigeria and finds it a challenge to adapt to the American culture.
They're used to this community, but we as immigrants coming here, we find it very different. But we try to acclimatize and identify with African Americans as being part of us too.
And FIU educator Dr. Valerie Patterson is impacted by the flood of foreigners arriving in South Florida.
People assumed that there was no way that I could be from here, that I could be a native Miamian, and so I really view that in a very negative way.
Black in South Florida. It's a debate that has many facets and perspectives that can't be solved or even defined in minutes. But academic experts agree we must find unity among diversity by shedding the labels that cripple us.
We the people must see ourselves as a oneness, but it's going to take time, it's going to take some education. And we must invest in that if we are to mend everything that we have to.
I'm black.
I'm black.
Black.
Regardless of your nationality and race, the history of all of us lies within each of us. And although February is only 28 days long and this show lasts only 30 minutes, we can continue to tell the stories of those who came before and those yet to come. What we hope we've done here tonight is spark an interest in wanting to delve into a history that has yet to be fully explored, and we hope you keep that passion and fire burning long after you've turned off your television sets. Remember, Black history is happening every second, every minute, every hour, every day, and it's up to you to help celebrate it. From the African American Research Library and Cultural Center, I'm Julia Yarbo. And from all of us at NBC6, good night.
As I travel backwards through time, I search to rescue all my heroes. And I find myself in the Underground Railroad, standing side by side with Harriet Tubman's, whether she decides to go left or right tonight. And as the barking dogs approach from the south, I rub the clothes of 1,000 slaves on my body, and I hand her a flashlight. And I run. I run till I get to Jackson, Mississippi, and it's June 11, 1963, and I'm standing in the bushes with this man in front of me, and as I peek over his shoulders, I can see what he sees, so I scream, "Medgar, look out!" And from a distant car, I can hear the shouts, "You better run, son." So I run. I run till I get to still 1963, but in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm peeking through a church basement window at 4 little girls, at 4 little worlds, and I notice that I'm standing next to a box, and I can hear the subtle sounds of the tick-tock, so I open it up and cut the red wire to the bottom to make it stop, and I can hear them coming from up the block, and they're screaming, "You better run, son." So I run. I run till I get to February 21st, 1965, and I find myself standing backstage in the Manhattan's Audubon Ballroom, trying to explain to Malcolm that the enemy is sent for his goons, and I explained that, yes, Malcolm, I know a change gonna come, but it don't have to be this soon. So I took a few of Malcolm's security people, and we just went out and cleared the whole room, then all of a sudden the enemy showed up screaming, "You better run, son." So I run. I run till I get to April 4th, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm standing in front of the Lorraine Motel with Dr. Martin Luther King, and shots begin to ring. And today I just don't want to lift every voice and sing, so I shoot back. And I cover Dr. King with my own body as we hit the floor, because this is the only man that I'm willing to die for. And I can hear that scream from across the street again. "You better run, son." So I run. I run till I find myself standing in the middle of an intersection in Las Vegas, and it's September the 7th, 1996. The day Tupac was being followed by an entourage of eyewitnesses, but everybody claimed not to see it. So I ran alongside the passenger side and pulled Tupac out, so Suge Knight was the only person to get hit. Then I heard that scream again. "You better run, son." So I run. I run so fast in the split second 6 months had passed, only for me to ride back in LA in time enough to push Biggie out of the way of the last gun blast. Now I'm lying here thinking, God, at last, I ain't gotta run no more. I ain't gotta be nobody's son no more. You ain't gotta run no more. You ain't gotta be nobody's son no more.